India is ready to ditch Russian crude oil. Here's the catch. Yes, as you can see on your screen internationally, especially American media is currently claiming that India has made an offer to the US regarding Russian oil. The offer is basically this: you don't want to buy Russian crude oil, right? That's your main issue, correct? Well, we will solve that. We are ready to stop buying Russian crude oil. We even phase it out completely from our market. But there is one big condition. So what the condition? According to these media reports, India has told the US we will stop buying Russian crude oil but in return, you need to allow us to buy oil from Iran and Venezuela. Right now, both of the countries are under US sanctions, which means India can't freely buy oil from them. That's why we turned to Russia in the first place because we need a reliable and discounted source. But if the US gives India a special waiver to buy from Iran and Venezuela, despite the sanctions, the India says it's ready to stop Russian imports. India also made another strong point. We are the third largest consumer of oil in the world, and we need stable and large scale suppliers. Among the top 5 oil suppliers globally are Saudi Arabia, Russia, the US, Iran, and Venezuela. Now, if the US wants us to stop buying from Russia, Iran, and Venezuela, then you are basically asking us to give up on the 3 of the top suppliers. That's not just going to hurt India, it could affect the whole world. Think about it. If India, such a large, huge oil consumer, suddenly starts buying more from the Middle East or other markets, global oil prices will shoot up. There is already a shortage in the global oil market. So if India jumps into the pool of full force, it could trigger a global price hike that every country would feel. So India is saying it's not just about us, it's about the whole world. If you want us to stop buying Russian oil, fine, but let us buy from Iran and Venezuela. And that's it's what's making the US uncomfortable. Why? Because now America is stuck between a rock and a hard place. You might be thinking, wait, how is this the problem for US? India is giving them a solution. But here's the catch. If America agrees to India condition, then to solve one problem, India buying from Russia, it will create two new problems with Iran and Venezuela. And right now, US sanctions with those countries are even more than with the Russia. In fact, as we speak, America warships are ready to postpone near Venezuela. And there's constant speculation of military action. Now imagine India start buying oil in bulk from Venezuela worth billions of dollars. The money could go into the buying weapons, which may then be used against US forces. And the Iran is option. Even riskier India buying Iranian oil means Iran's economy could recover overnight. The money could politically help fund their nuclear weapon program, which the US strongly opposes. So now the US has a dilemma. India's proposal is reasonable, but India laid out its problems and even given a possible solution. But the problem is, America has too many enemies, and India can't be expected to sacrifice its own interest because of that. That's why the US hasn't responded to India's offer yet. They are still figuring out what to do. Meanwhile, many American analysts, where they supported India or not, are waiting research papers and discussing how complex and unique this situation. It's not just a normal oil crisis, it's turning into a global energy strategy trend. Now we will have to wait and see how the US responds. Will they give a counter offer? Usually, when a country like India gives such a proposal, the US doesn't say yes or no. They come back with a counter deal. One such possible counter offer being talked about is that America may offer India more of its crude oil, but of course, India will only accept if it comes at a discount. After all, we were getting discounts from Russia, so why we should pay full price now? So the big question is, what the America will offer next, and how will India respond? Stay tuned, the story is far from over.